All right, so you just got an aquarium. That's awesome, but it does mean you're going to get algae. And what I'm gonna do today is help you decide what are the best algae scrapers for your setup. All right, so where does algae form? Well, it basically forms everywhere. It's gonna be on your plants, it's gonna be on rocks, it's gonna be on woods like you see on this tank. But what's most important is to figure out what's the right tool that's gonna help you out in each of those different situations. And the truth is, there's a variety of different algae, and you're going to hear a lot about them as you do more research in this hobby. We're not gonna worry about the differences between blackbeard algae and green spot algae and brown diatom algae. We're just talking about what's the best algae scraper, so let's get into it. All right, let's start with the traditional algae scraper. This is something you might already be aware of, and it's just a blade on an arm like this, and you can just simply run it up and down your glass, and you can see right here, it's taking that algae right off of the glass. And the truth is, there's a lot of different options out there. So how do you decide which one's best for you? Well, this was a traditional, like razor blade style option, and you can pop them off and replace them right here. I'm gonna link all these products in the description below so you can figure out which is best for you. But there's also these more flexible plastic options, right? And these are literally like a credit card or a gift card. These are safe not only for glass, but also for acrylic tanks, which we'll talk about in just a second, and that's an important point. What's cool about these is not only do they sell replacements for them, but you can literally just like take an old gift card and pop it in there and get the exact same effect. What else do you have to decide on? Length, right? I just got half my arm wet doing this tank, but let's say I didn't want to do that. Check this out. I could be in here like this, scraping the algae on this tank all the way down to the bottom, and I'm not even getting wet at all. So depending on the size of your tank, whether you have like a little nano setup or maybe a medium-sized tank or a deep one, there's options for you. Speaking of acrylic, that's what we have right here. This acrylic tank is beautiful, but you do not want to use a razor blade on an acrylic aquarium. So if you have that, you need to use a plastic material like this, or you can actually use something really cool, which we haven't talked about, which is a magnetic algae scraper. Check this out. The cool thing about these is that this one is specifically made for acrylic aquariums, and they do make them for glass as well. And it's just a magnet that opens up like this, and you come in here on either side of the glass, and watch this, boom. It just attaches like that, and then when you want to scrape the algae off the glass, all you have to do is pull it up like this, and when you're done, you can actually leave it like this in a corner of your aquarium. So you remember when I said that algae grows on rocks and wood and things like that? That's where this little brush comes in. Take a brush like this, and it's got these hard bristles, and you just get in here and you can scrape off down in little crevices like this any algae that you have forming on your rocks, and you can come over here and come over to driftwoods or spiderwood or something like that, and you can just scrape off any algae that's growing on those branches as well and make sure that they're all nice and clean. All right, sometimes you don't need a specialized tool, you just need a foam block like this. I always love keeping these on hand. It's always a good idea. They're inexpensive, and if you just need to do some just general back and forth, wide swath cleaning of algae, it's nice to have these on hand. And if you have trimmings, like you're doing a plant trimming like we did here, and they're stuck up here, they haven't all gotten picked up by a net, you can just come along like this, pick them all up, and you're good to go. And you know what? Sometimes you just need a nano sparkling sponge on a stick. Nano sparkling sponge on a stick. Literally what it's called. Well, why do you need something like this? I'll tell you what, when you are working on your aquarium, you have to make sure with those algae scrapers that you don't hit the inside silicone seams because you can cause problems. So what this allows you to do is get in here and get algae out of the corners as you go up and down the corners, making sure that your silicone seams are safe. So what's this thing? Let me show you. If you have lily pipes on your aquarium like these right here, they are going to get algae as well. It's no big deal. You just have to have the right tool to clean it. So check this out. You just take this, and this pipe cleaner will clean out the inside of these lily pipes so they're nice and sparkling. All right, so you got the inside of your tank clean, and you probably made a mess on the outside too. Always happens. You just need to make sure you have an aquarium-safe glass cleaner like this. And when you do, you are all set to make sure that the outside of your aquarium is looking just as good as the inside.